Good morning. Good morning. I am in the Bloomberg lab at my school. I'll be going over some stuff that's happening within the markets, within the economy, so that we can continue to learn this information and continue to be educated and build wealth. So I'll be talking about some things that's happening in news and just to keep you all updated about different things that's happening in the market and different lessons that you can learn in live action. So I'm currently starting my first day of school. I'm in a Bloomberg lab, which is where people can trade, people can learn how to invest, and then things like that under the different softwares from Bloomberg. So I can share some of the insights from there. So let me know how you all are doing this morning. I know it's a Wednesday, the markets are red. Let me sign into this account real quick. Let me know how you all are feeling. Oh yeah, we'll go from there. So if you all don't know, my name is Corey Phillips. I am currently a senior at North Central College in Naperville. I teach people about financial literacy. I work with over 1,700 youth in the city of Chicago since 2024. And I currently speak at organizations, nonprofits, government officials, nonprofits, things like that, churches, community organizations, so I can teach young people about the stock market and investing. I've been investing for myself for about 5 years, and I've outperformed the S&P 500 since I started. So I work with different schools and organizations so young people can learn in a way that's easy for them to understand. So that's how I'll be continuing to share this information. Many of you are looking at the markets now. The markets have been down over the last couple of days. If you all don't know that the months of August to September are typically the worst months for investing due to just a lot of the ending the fiscal year for businesses. A lot of corporations take their profits. The travel season usually typically ends during this time of the year, and then travel slows down. People go back to school, and then companies take profits for tax season. So that's why you see a lot of these companies and institutional buyers pulling money out of the market, causing some of the stocks go up, going about average of 0.9%, less than 1% on average between the months of August and September. So just understanding over the long run, if you're someone who invests over the long run, it typically doesn't really matter because you're someone that wants to have the mindset of just making your money work for you over the long run, and that you just want to be able to hold for a long period of time, and you'll see a lot more success. So continue to just utilize that and understand that mindset as you continue to build wealth. So use this information so you can continue to make yourself better, continue to educate your family and things like that. So one investment I mentioned last week, a couple weeks ago, is a company called UNH. It's United Healthcare. I started it. I told we might have got the news last week that Warren Buffett and his group invested a total of 5 million shares into the company. Because he's typically someone who invests things over the long run. So UNH, United Healthcare, they were down from approximately 583, 599. But this is one year to date. It was all the way up to about almost 610 was his high. It went all the way down to 240, 237, which was down approximately 50%, like 60% over the last couple months. And I told my dad a couple weeks ago, it was good. I got it at 242 because it's a company that still has over 100 million consumers that they rely on. And regardless of a lot of these different lawsuits that they're having, they might be short lived. So I put bought some shares of United Healthcare, and then last week when it was hit its low, Warren Buffett bought 5 million shares of that company, which caused a lot of people within the economy to start buying it up. But you understand healthcare is one of the biggest industries that people should take note of as an investor. and people are going to continue to need their sources for things down the line. So it's important to look at this. A lot of the time is just having a mindset of just building wealth. You can't save yourself to wealth. You can't bet yourself to wealth. You have to invest in good companies that are going to be around for a while, have good market shares, good profit margins, and continue to innovate towards the future. People look at companies right now like NVIDIA, like I mentioned. NVIDIA is the most valuable company in the world. They produce GPU chips, which are graphic processing units, and they have a 90% market share. They're a company like Intel that used to be the number one for CPU chips, but towards artificial intelligence, GPU chips are the things that power that wave. So instead of people using CPU chips before, they need more increased demand in GPU chips, and NVIDIA is the one leading and paving the way. So you want to continue to invest in companies that are paving the way towards the future, 55% profit margin, 90% market share, as they continue to improve and have different partnerships within the future. So you see a lot of people like NVIDIA, we already saw they went from a little bit under 120 something dollars a share to over $1,500 a share before the stock split. But it's the most valuable for first company to hit $4 trillion in market cap. But for you all understanding this AI environment, understanding the different phases that we're in right now. So we look at right now, we need to build up the infrastructure in the United States and abroad. That's why you see all this infrastructure for energy, because you need these different AI platforms need to be able to run off a lot of energy. So that's why you see a lot of energy, things like Oracle. You see a lot of different companies that are building up these big data centers, because these data centers take up a lot of energy. So they need a lot of renewable energy that they can utilize with these systems, and they need a lot of data. So that's why they're building a lot more energy systems, and they're building a lot of data centers so that they can power these different platforms like ChatGPT, Claude, and Anthropic, so that they can be able to be more efficient over the course of time. So that's what these companies are doing right now. We're building it up, the infrastructure, so that we have more energy, so that these different environments can move at a fast pace. So that's one thing to look at. So continue to utilize this information so that you can continue to build wealth. Mark, what's up? Stay motivated, positive, do great things, even if no one's watching. I appreciate you. Just using this information to inspire people about the markets and how we can continue to build wealth. Understanding what different types of things are happening in the market, from what's happening in the stock market, what's happening in cryptocurrency, what's happening in the business landscape. Because if we're not teaching each other how to learn this information, then we're going to continue to fall behind. AI is going to be the most innovative technology that we've seen, bigger than the internet, bigger than electricity. Is something that all the different infrastructure that we see will be the backbone powering everything. It will power and change, shift multiple industries. You have a point in time where we will literally have the first $1 trillion companies, $1 billion companies run off of a team of only 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 people. So you don't realize you don't have to have a whole entire 100-person corporation to have these profitable companies. You have different AI agents, automation, and things like that. You'll be able to have different types of systems so that you can be able to be more profitable with less people. Because think about AI. AI does not take sick days. AI does not get tired. AI does not have an attitude. It just does the job. And AI is not going to take your job. It's the people that know how to use AI are going to be the people that take your job. So instead of having 100 people working at different things like a Starbucks or things like that, they're going to have one person managing a whole fleet of robots. I was listening to the NVIDIA CEO, Jensen Huang. He was talking about in the future, there will be AI. There will be 2 types of factories. There'll be a factory where people will be manufacturing the robots. And then there'll be another factory where the robots will be manufacturing and building up the different things for different businesses, whether that's cars, whether that's products, whether that's services. There'll be 2 different types of warehouses: one to construct the AI robots, and then one to be able to have the robots work on construct different services or products, the future of different things like that. And you look at cars, you look at a company like Tesla, you look at a company like Waymo, you look at a company like Lucid. They're not betting on selling more vehicles. They're betting on the autonomous drivers. Um, Driving autonomous drivers is one of the biggest employers of people on the planet. And once you have companies like Uber, you have companies like Waymo, you have all those different companies rely on drivers. You don't have to hire people if you can have a driver that drives by itself through AI. They have the technology in them to be able to drive around. I was in Phoenix a couple weeks ago, and I see a whole fleet of Waymo cars. They're still privately held, and I look next to me, and there's 9 cars, and all of them have no people in them, but they're just driving on its own. Because Waymo has a bunch of sensors in there to kind of sense heat signals, so that they can continue to see what type of objects or things are in the way. It's a little bit different than Tesla's operating system, but it's important to understand where the future is and how you can navigate and utilize that information so that you can invest in these different companies, and paving the way towards the future. So utilize this information to be proactive instead of reactive so that we can be able to make money and build generational wealth for our families. So it's one of the most important times in human history that someone can be alive to build money, build wealth, understanding what is pushing everything up. Look at the crypto market. Cryptocurrency is like digital gold. It's like, instead of investing in things like commodities, gold, silver, things like that, people, instead of using things like the US dollar, there eventually be something called like cryptocurrency, which is decentralized currency to transfer goods and services. And you understand Bitcoin. Bitcoin uses blockchain, which is a technology, and it has a big use for. It's not just something that's just off of just speculation, but it's off of something with an actual use for. It's only 21 million Bitcoin ever created, and the thing is, it's important to utilize that in order to have diversified within assets of the future. Instead of the U.S. dollar, which continues to go down each every year, with inflation and the decrease in buying power, Bitcoin gets more valuable every single year. It's the highest performing asset over the last 10 years compared to gold, outpaced S&P 500, outpaced real estate. So it's important to understand that Bitcoin is something towards the future. Not saying that you have to put all your money in it, but it's something that you want to be able to have and build wealth. Every single year, your house costs more. It takes more money for that same house, but it takes less Bitcoin, because one Bitcoin is increased in price exponentially each and every year. Even with more institutional buyers from different banks and corporations buying into it, that's caused the price to shoot up exponentially. And then a lot of legislation within the United States government, within the world, to be able to apply more Bitcoin and cryptocurrency has made it so there's a lot more deregulation. And that's something that could see exponential growth. They say something that can be multi-millions of dollars if it continues down this trajectory within the next 10 years. We'll see, but there's a lot of risk to it. It's a riskier investment, but something that could the more risk you pay off, the more rewards that you can gain. So instead of us not being scared of it, understand what it is, what the use for it, and how we can be able to use it moving forward. So that's something that I love to enjoy to look at. You look at this company called Palantir. So Palantir, you all don't know, they're a military defense company. It was one of the hottest stocks of 2024 and 2025. Recently went down over the last couple of days, 5 days, went down about 13%, 20% over the last 5 days. And this is something that has been a stock that a lot of people might have said has been overvalued. But if you look at different values of companies, they're going off of the value of projected growth potential and the increased need for the company, as well as different market conditions, things like that. So even if the markets are going up or going down, there's many different factors for a company going up. The key points is that they had, even though they've been continuing to have 5th straight day after falling after new heights earlier this month, They had a very stellar earnings, having over first ever $1 billion ever in a quarter. And their most significant gainer in the S&P 500, which is the top 500 US companies ever. A lot of people say they're on track to hit $1 trillion in market cap, which is something that is just very important to see that they paved the way as artificial intelligence powers the future. It continues to show that a lot of speculators say that it might be overvalued a little bit because they might be pulling out their money right now. Like I mentioned, there are a lot of companies right now are pulling out. They're having their profit share. We've had the stock market go down like 20% in April, but it's gone up around 20% since those lows in April. I don't see us having another pullback like in April, but I can see us going down another 5 to 10% as institutional buyers pull out their money. They continue to benefit exponentially from President Trump as they doubled the company's benefits from AI enthusiasm, as they had increase in government contracts as well, which has caused the price to soar exponentially. And they've had a lot of different people, specifically of someone named Andrew Left, Clifton Citron, said that Palantir is continuing to go off of fundamentals, and they basically said this devalued from OpenAI, which is ChatGPT's valuation. So they said it should be priced way lower, which caused a lot of people to just say that their price is overvalued. I believe some of these stocks is very expensive right now, especially in the current U.S. economy. But understand that we all worried about saying when's the next time the stock market's going to go down, but you can never predict that. You want to look at what the market's giving you, and the market has gone up exponentially. The corporate profit margins are increasing a lot, even though that jobs are starting to slow down. But we're in this interesting time where we haven't seen tariffs been heavily affected yet from the data points. We haven't seen much into how these different infrastructure reports going to affect these companies, how many job layoffs is going to affect this long term. But we see that the increased need in artificial intelligence and the bet on AI is pushing this market up forward. So the difference between the .com infrastructure and today is that the .com was off of a lot of speculation. But now you look at artificial intelligence, is that artificial intelligence is something that can continue to not just be speculation, but actually be implemented within our current day, everyday needs. You look at companies like Salesforce, about 50% of their companies already artificial intelligence. You look at companies like Amazon, over half of their companies are already inside AI. You look at all the things you use from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all run through AI agents. So you have to understand that this technology is here to stay. And we have to be able to understand how we invest in these companies that are not just utilizing these large language models, but the people that have infrastructure around it. Look at companies that invest in energy, companies that invest in data centers. I look at a company like Vertiv Holdings. They're the ones that have to have the liquid cooling so that data centers can be cooled at a certain rate. Look at a company like I said, Palantir, military defense. Future company called Anduril. It's a privately held company, but instead of us sending actual troops overseas, they're going to send actual drones and robots. So that changes the whole way how warfare is actually being fought. Company like OpenAI. OpenAI is still private. It's a $500 billion valuation pre-IPO. But look at what company owns it. Microsoft owns 49% of OpenAI, which runs ChatGPT. Look at companies like Tesla. They're going off autonomous vehicles right now. And even though there's a lot of stuff right now with Elon Musk, he's starting to refocus, and we'll see how these companies play out, regardless of how many cars they sell. If they get this autonomous vehicle right, then they'll be able to move forward. Companies like Palantir. Palantir has these government contracts, like I said, with the United States government. They're already $437 billion in market cap, and there's someone that's continuing to be used for the United States government in terms of military defense, as they had more military defense companies. Looking at a company called MP, They're a company that continue to provide the rare earth materials that the only United States company that has contracts with. So looking at that, but it's important to understand the different players in the game. And we can know a lot about this information, but until we actually execute, then we're just sitting back and being speculators. People that are not the people that are greatest investors aren't the people that know all the information, but they're the people that want to go and execute. We know what's happening. You have so much information in today's society, but not enough people actually implement this information. So what I'm saying, all this information, you don't have to understand all of it, but understand that you can be aware of different things that are happening. The prices may be high now, but when you see this pullback come, know and execute when it actually happens. Everyone's talking about, okay, when's the next time the market was going to happen? You had your opportunity in April and you thought the market was going to go down. But that same day, since April, I think 2nd or whatever, that week of April 2nd, April 7th, I think, the stock market has been on a tremendous tear. And you don't want to get into the markets now where it's at an all-time high. You want to get it when it's low and hold it for long periods of time. Get rich without getting lucky. Positioning is everything. You want a dollar cost average. Even if you did get it a higher, if it goes low, don't sell your company. Go and dollar cost average and buy more positions lower than where you bought it before. You have to understand that this is a long-term play. Most people talk about they want to trade, they want to do options, they want to get rich quick. You can't get rich quick in this economy. You want to be able to, even if you did get it, you want to get rich off of being able to have good fundamentals than getting lucky. So that's so important that we continue to share this information, that we continue to just utilize this abundance of resources so we can continue to educate. For me, I see so many young people that want to find ways to make money, but this is a way you can be able to make money legally, a way that you can be able to put your family in a good situation without you even having to just work a job. If you're not making money while you sleep, you'll always be a slave to the system. And it's okay. Not everyone's going to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone's going to go to college. Not everyone's going to be in making a 7-figure earning, but everyone can deserve to be able to build wealth from starting investing in themselves, changing their mindset instead of working for money, making your money work for you. That's one of the most important things. We know that the rising price of goods, inflation, tariffs, war, everything, all those different things have happened time and time again, and they will continue to happen. But the thing you can do is be someone that's proactive and take that next step and go and execute so that your family can continue to change the trajectory of their life, whether that's to go and travel more, whether that's to actually have more money to be able to maybe quit your job or retire early. That this is something that regardless of what career path that you have to be able to learn this information. So I'm doing this so we can actually change our communities. So we can shift our idea from just believing that we can only sell drugs or only be an entertainer or only be an athlete, but understanding how we can position ourselves so we can be from being the athlete to being the owner of the team. How can we position ourselves? Because you're an NFL player, you're an employer of the NFL team. And the tax system is built on taxation of people that are employees. So how can you position yourself, understand the tax system, understand the business system, understand the real estate, stocks, and crypto, and how you can create assets so that you don't have to rely just on your job or your pension or your 401k or your social security in order to make sure that you might not have a place, have some money to live once you retire. Because that's the last thing you want to have once you're older. You want to make sure you have that strong safety net, that nest egg that you want to build for your retirement and later in life. So investing is one of those important things that people think that it was just for the wealthy, but no, investing is for everyone. You don't have to be a multimillionaire to be able to be successful in the stock market. You can be someone and if you don't know what type of stock to invest in index funds and ETFs, which is like a basket of companies. So instead of knowing which one, Apple, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Tesla, OpenAI, I don't know which company to invest in. If you're someone that's new, invest in the ETF. Look at different companies that's diversified in different sectors so you understand having a holistic approach, whether that's tech, whether that's real estate, whether it's healthcare, whether it's finance. You will have all those different sectors. And so many resources with just your phone, you can be able to do that within a click of a second. And then you don't have to have all these thousands of dollars and millions of dollars to invest. You can start with as little as $1 or $5, depending on these brokerage accounts. So utilize this information to not just have it, but use it to implement it. Because the second that you utilize this, and it will change your whole entire life. So I'll be doing this. Feel free, people, to ask questions when I do these streams. I'm gonna start streaming more, giving you all game on what's happening in the markets, so we can all deserve to be wealthy, that we can all deserve to build wealth, so we can all continue to position ourselves towards the future. So my name is Corey Phillips again. I'm doing this. I'm in school. I'm a college student. I'm in the Bloomberg lab looking at the markets. And I'll be doing this. I think I'll be doing this every few days out of the week. You catch me on live on Facebook. Might bring on some guest speakers. I just got the streaming platform set up on all my devices so we can share this information, share it to your friends, share it to your family, because this is something, right, especially now with so much stuff happening, whether that's the White House, whether that's in the world, whether that's in the community. How can we be able to stay informed and stay focused on things that's going to help us? Everything in media right now you see is to make us fearful or divide us. But how can we continue to be people that we can use this information to put us together, to rebuild our communities, to put ourselves in a better situation, being authentic, which is what media should be used for. So that's what I'll be using my platform for. Continue to educate, inspire, and utilize this towards the future. So feel free to put questions in the chat. If I don't answer it this chat, I'll answer it in my next stream. So make sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I'll be posting this on all platforms, and I'll be consistent with this, showing me what different business event, meeting with different CEOs, different people in different environments, so we can all elevate together. We need less of just entertainment and less of things that divide us, but bring people together. So my name is Corey Phillips again, founder and CEO of Social Storm LLC. I teach people about investing in the stock market and building wealth. I have a community of young entrepreneurs in the city of Chicago. I work with the mayor of Chicago. I work with city colleges, the Chicago Department of Public Health. This weekend, I'll be going to Atlanta in InvestFest, which is an investing conference with over 20,000 people all over the world, from Atlanta, from Chicago, LA, Africa, you name it. How to understand crypto, AI, stock market, business, things like real estate, things like that. I'll be going there this weekend, interviewing some high-level individuals, put Social Storm on a national level. So I'll be there this weekend, and I have a couple other announcements coming up soon. I'll be traveling to another location, and I'll let you all know soon. Just let me know if you have any questions in the chat. I appreciate you all for coming on, and I'll continue to keep you all informed. Make sure to follow me on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, and I hope you all have an amazing day. I'll talk to you all soon.